Yeah, so I'm Rory Monroe. I've spent most of my life in Ulva. I moved here when I was 8 years old with my family, and my father took on the job as ferryman. And I've been here pretty much ever since, and now I run the ferry. So it's a nice place to live. It's a nice way of life, but it's not for everyone. Yeah, so in Ulva, I'm the ferryman, which primarily through the summer months it's for visitors to the island. We can get up to 100 people on a really good day, but the numbers change every day. And they're mainly walkers coming to explore the island's nature and its history. And there's a lot of people that also come just for the boathouse, the seafood cafe. And there's also the other part of the people that live here, which is growing in the last few years. I think we're up to 16, 17 people now. It's hard to keep track of the hustle and bustle. But yeah, so in the winter time, sometimes some of the people live here, I'm the only person they see. People are kind of spread out a bit. So yeah, it's a different way of life, especially in the winter. People just go over to the shop occasionally or whatever. But yeah, my family actually go right back on Ulva on my father's side to the 1700s, so I've got a strong connection to the island. Yeah, so between Ulva and Gumtree there was hundreds of people, which when you walk around now it's quite hard to imagine that. But when you go to certain parts of the island, the south mainly, you'll see the ruined villages. And obviously these people, lived there for generations and were eventually cleared, like a lot of places in Scotland, by the Clark family, Francis William Clark. Obviously they use the excuse of potato famine or whatever as they do in other parts of Scotland and Ireland, but actually it was more profitable for these landowners to have sheep at that time. So it's got quite a dark history in that respect. So going from hundreds to even the times that Howard family took over, it would have been down to 30 people a lot of the time. And it just, in some ways, it's nice that it's went back to nature, but you miss that human aspect because it's the people that make a place. So that's why now, although back in the days when there was hundreds of people, it was all spread out. Now it's only concentrated in a small corner of Ulva, the houses. So yeah, we get visitors coming every year from Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand, and their ancestors came from Ulva and had to leave Ulva and go out into the world, which is pretty terrifying to think back then. Even now it's terrifying to think. But it's amazing the amount of people that come back and trace their ancestors. Yeah, well, I was surprised. So my sister could tell you everything. I'm not very good, but she's traced everything right back. She loves history. So when we moved from Gartaharn, which is outside Loch Lomond, to here. My mum's from Mull, but my dad's from Gartaharn. My mother's family go back generations, but we found out it was my dad's side that actually go back to Ulva, which is mental. Just a coincidence of that. Go back to the 1700s. But I think back then, people a lot of time wouldn't leave by choice, but people moved about on boats, a lot more than they do now. So people left and then came back and stuff like that. You find that in the census when you look, like a lot of the time, just to explore and do different things, other opportunities. Yeah, so there's 6 children in the island at the moment, all different ages. There's a girl that goes to preschool in Salland, she's 4, and the rest of are now different ages, but they go to high school in Tobermory. So I take them over at 7:45 in the morning when the ferry. They go over and wait, and it's usually about 8 o'clock. A bus comes and picks them up and then takes them to Tobermory, and then they're not back till about 4:30, 4:45. Which is fine in the summer, but in the winter we're getting more and more storms every year, and it can be quite touch and go sometimes. You're just, we've got a small passenger ferry, but you're on with your gut instinct a lot of the time. So it's certainly a unique experience for children living on Ulva. before even getting to transport with wheels, you got to take the boat over. Yeah, it's a long day for them, actually. Yeah, so 2 of the 5 who go to high school are mine. I've got a son who's 12 and a daughter who's 15. So they went to the primary school at the end of the road there. And I went to that school as well. This is the other family with 4 other kids. They moved here last February from like Yorkshire or something like that. So my kids are the last children that really grew up here with any kind of connection. So obviously when I grew up here, I'd already had experience living somewhere else in the mainland, whereas they've only ever known this. So they are used to it, and it's easier now. People always say that it's easier for your kids, but they got the central heating, they got the internet, TV, whereas when I grew up, there was none of that. I didn't even have a TV, because there was no signal here. So they're more connected with their friends, and they meet up socially and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they've got a pretty unique childhood, and it's nice that they've still got the nature here as well as the modern technologies. Played in the woods most of their childhood now. They don't really now they're getting to teenage years, but yeah, even on Mull, a lot of kids don't do stuff like that. They're just in their iPads and stuff like that. My wife's got up quite unique. So she ran Boathouse for 13 years. We moved back here. But she now works from home. She's a economic consultant for a firm in London. So she's actually got an office job, but living on Ulva. So, it sounds better than it is because she's still in that office online all day, and then at night time. It's okay in the summer, but in the winter at night time, it's dark. She can't do anything or see anyone. So the technology has helped, but it's still not ideal for jobs like that. The family with the children, their father is a fireman that works in open, and he just shift work on and off. There's a language teacher that works from home, Nicholas, he's called. His next door neighbours, Mark and Brendan, have a soap company, making soap from seaweed on Ulva, and that's in its early stages, but it's going pretty well. Who else have we got? I've got Barry that's lived here. He's the second longest resident. He's lived here for Newcastle, but he's lived here for about 25 years. He's pretty much retired now. He worked in the fish farm, and then he was a bus driver over there, but he's pretty much retired. He could fill the farm, or I don't know, actually. His wife, so he farms at People of Ulva, but his wife was a teacher in Tobermory, so she crosses with the school kids in the morning. I think some people on this island struggle a bit with people because if they live out the road, they don't really see people that often, especially if they're working from home or whatever. Whereas I can get 100 different people on the boat every day, and I'm talking to them. They get a bit of my life, I get a bit of their life. So, but then I can take them away at the end of the day. I don't have to deal with them after that. But so I get my social fix, but not everyone on the island does. But not everyone wants it. So, I think at the moment, because of the community buyout, it was down to 5 people, which was my family and one other guy. Everyone else has moved here the last few years, and I think most of the people that have moved here have been that kind of introvert wanting to get away from things. Whereas when I grew up, it was like an older generation. There's a few families, but it was, everyone spoke to each other and hung about, and it was more community-minded, whereas I think Ulva at the moment is kind of being forced together as a community. So it's early days yet, but I think they'll be fine in a minute. So the shop can either go to Salin, which is 10 miles away, or Tobermory, which is about 20 miles away, but in COVID we started getting a Tesco delivery through a carrier for Mobin that would travel around as extra money, but we just kept doing that, so we get like 2 weeks worth of shopping at a time and like freeze what we need, so it works out pretty well. But again, not everyone can do that and plan ahead, but we kind of got into the routine of doing it. Because if you go to these local shops all the time, it's quite expensive. So Yeah, that's what we do. My favourite thing is it's got its own biodiversity, even though it's only 200 odd metres from Mull. It's completely unique. It's got, really mature woodland, diverse habitats that are even different from Mull. So to experience that, and especially growing up and seeing how it all fits together, I think it's pretty special. So the trees especially are my favourite thing about them. They're really, really nice. Should I be truthful? I think that the hardest thing for me, because I grew up here and I've experienced generations of people, and then we had to buy out, it's been difficult for me dealing with some of the people that have moved here, because they've came with expectations. They've made me down the background of living rurally. So it's been taking a long time for us all to adapt to each other. But I think we're getting there. But yeah, it's just people. Luckily, we haven't had a fire in a long time. I think the last one was when the original big house on Ulva burnt down in the 1950s. And, when stuff like that happens, you wouldn't be able to stop it or anything like that. Generally, any medical emergency, either we'll try and club together and get someone, whether it's in the back of a quad bike or whatever, try and get them to the pier and meet the ambulance. But a lot of the time, in the last 10 years, it's been the air ambulance that have came and picked people up, because it's so remote. It's actually quicker for the helicopter to come and pick people up. So yeah, it's something that we're really lucky to have on Ulva and Mull. Yeah, so Sheila's cottage is a restorated thatch cottage that someone from Mull rebuilt, and it was rethatched and it was turned into a museum in the way it was. So Sheila was the last person that lived there. I think it was like 1950 she left, but she lived like that with no running water, no electric or anything like that, so it was really basic. So it was turned into a museum in our memory. There's a lot of the history of the island. It's been rethatched a couple of times. Obviously the weather here is so extreme, it takes a battering on the buildings. But unfortunately at the moment it's needing a bit of work, rethatched completely again, back from square one, and a new exhibition, which I'm hopeful that will happen soon, because it's a big visitor attraction. So there's a lot of people tracing their family history, and it's so close to the ferry they can go in there. There's a lot of people that can't walk very far as well, so it's something for them to see and look at. But yeah, it's important to keep these things, in good condition and restored, because, it's history at the end of the day.